Officials are speaking out about how proposed federal cuts to food assistance programs will hurt local food banks. In fact, Feeding San Diego saying it's already feeling the effects of one of its programs being canceled, that being the local food purchasing agreement.
Bob Kamensky, CEO of Feeding San Diego, is joining us live now to discuss how these cuts could affect local farmers and the people who rely on these vital services. Bob, thanks so much for being here.
Well, thank you for the invitation to be able to speak on the subject.
We do want to start off with what is at stake. What so far has been cut there?
Well, the one program that directly affects Feeding San Diego, as you mentioned earlier, was a local food purchasing agreement. This is a federal program channeled through Department of Agriculture, through the state of California, and then it eventually gets down to us as one of the food banks associated with the California Association of Food Banks. We identify farmers in the local community from whom purchases are made of their produce that are then delivered to Feeding San Diego. Feeding San Diego then distributes it into the community to the agencies and to people directly in our food distribution network. What we have seen is that the LFPA program in FY26, July 2026, is no longer going to be funded from the federal level. And that was to us an impact of over $1 million worth of fresh produce. Meanwhile, we're finishing up with our existing program under the LFPA, which is about $2.3 million worth of produce. And that probably will last us through the end of this calendar year, at which time we will have expended the funding.
We know that this obviously will impact a lot of San Diego families. What has some of the reaction from the local farmers community been?
The big impact on the farming community is they can't plant and produce widgets. They have to planning in advance how long the grow is going to require, and then harvesting and getting it to market. So this is for them is a 6-month advance lead time. And it is for small farmers. Most of these are micro farms. 4 acres is probably the smallest, and then up to maybe as high as 300 acres in size. So pulling this funding away has severe impacts on our local produce growing capacity, and these farmers may not be able to make it without the support of federal government in their startup mode.
And Bob, we know right now, obviously, the cost of groceries is so high. There are millions of families that count on food distribution. So tell us what your concerns are going forward and what people at home who might be watching this can do about it.
Well, the big concern for us is not so much on the food purchasing program at this point. Okay. It's what are some of the ancillary impacts that will affect our feeding distribution network when programs like SNAP or CalFresh or some of the other school programs are impacted financially, and where are the people going to go to find hunger relief? They're going to go to our network. They're going to come here, and we are going to need to get more sourcing in order to be able to handle that surge in numbers of people. How can you help? Well, for the private citizen, it winds up being, how can you help by donating your time or your treasure in order to allow us to offset the costs of that increased burden that's going to be felt across our network.
Okay, Bob, we'll stay in touch with everything here. We hope things turn around. Bob, really appreciate your time and mentioning how people can help out.
Yeah.
Well, Eric and Netta, thank you very much.
Yeah, what's the website one more time, Bob?
Okay, bye-bye.
Feeding San Diego, if you want to.
It is at feedingsandiego.org.
Perfect. All right. Want to make sure our viewers know that. Thank you very much. And to stay with us, a lot more to come here.